welcome to Overdrive. I'm Shireen Bhan. 2010 was a busy year for the hatchback market, with Ford, Volkswagen, General Motors and Nissan launching new cars. Nissan has now completed its portfolio in this segment with the launch of the Micra Diesel. But how does it fare against its competition? Let's find out.
If you want an economical, convenient and comfortable car that you can drive every day in the city, your only real choice was a premium hatchback. But with petrol prices now getting so expensive that petrol pumps are offering EMI schemes, the only way to be economical is to go diesel. And that's where this car comes in. The Nissan Micra is the latest diesel hatchback on the market. And today we're going to see how it compares with the Skoda Fabia, Hyundai i20 and Volkswagen Polo. Hatchbacks that on the surface look extremely well matched. And that's why we're going to keep things very simple by dealing with 5 burning questions. The first one being, will my friends say wow? When you talk styling, the standout car in this foursome is the Polo. It's a perfect blend of classical European styling, balanced proportions and excellent build quality. Not to mention the superb paint job that makes it stand out in a crowd. The Polo's Czech cousin, meanwhile, is also a good-looking car, but the Fabia has been around a lot longer, and last year's facelift was, as we said then, a real blink and you'll miss it job. The lone Korean in this battle, the i20, is the longest and widest car of the lot, but carries its bulk with ease. Designed in Germany for the European market, it's got cuts and slashes in all the right places. The Japanese contender, meanwhile, is a distinctive, in-your-face design that will stand out in a crowd. But there are no guarantees that everyone will like how it looks. Original, yes. Universal, no. So the only hatch of this lot that will make my friends go wow is the Polo. And now we move on to the second question. Which of these cars will my wife like the most? The answer lies in the cabins. In 2008, the Fabia introduced us to the idea of a premium hatchback with its well-finished interiors. Not much has changed since then. The quality of materials is excellent, the seats are comfortable, and the audio system has an aux port. The i20 has the most loaded cabin of the lot. Airbags everywhere, climate control, an excellent audio system with aux, USB and steering mounted controls. But the build doesn't feel as solid as some of the others. The Micra's cabin, meanwhile, is the most original, with its rounded clusters for the audio and climate control. It's also the only car in the segment to offer keyless entry and start. However, the grey and beige trim feels rather plain and the seats aren't as sculpted and comfortable as the others. So the car for the wives is the Polo. Mind you, it was a close run thing with the Fabia, but in the end, it was the Polo's phenomenal build quality, little touches and badge value, premium badge value that give it the edge. And now we move to our third question. Which is the car that my parents and in-laws would really like? There are 2 aspects to this, and the first is obvious. Can 2 or even 3 people sit in the back of these cars in comfort? The Fabia does look large and spacious, but you're not going to squeeze 3 into the back very comfortably. The Polo's flared rear cabin actually gave our 3 testers more shoulder room, but the bump on the floor leaves center passengers with nowhere to put their feet. The Micra's floor and rear bench is a bit more accommodating, but it lacks for shoulder room in comparison with the Hyundai. The i20 looks big and is pretty huge on the inside, allowing our 3 testers to settle down in some semblance of comfort. So as you saw from our highly scientific test, when it comes to seating 3 at the back, the i20 is king. But now we move to question 4, which is the car that I'd like to drive every day. On the engine front, it's the newest entrant that has the largest power plant. The Micra uses the same 1.5-litre 4-cylinder diesel as the Mahindra Logan, producing 64 PS of power and 160 Nm of torque. The lightest diesel hatch in the country, the Nissan's motor has very little turbo lag, light steering and a composed ride, making it very comfortable to punt around in the city, even if it's not the most involving driving experience. The i20 sports a modern 1.4-litre common rail unit and races to 100 in 13.4 seconds, the quickest of the lot. But like we said earlier, the engine has very little bottom end and springs into action when the turbo starts spooling, making it quite tiresome to drive on an everyday basis. Both the Fabia and Polo use Volkswagen's new 1.2-litre 3-cylinder diesel engine, which produces 75 PS of power and 180 Nm of torque. While it has a strong mid-range, the engine does lack grunt at low revs. But both the Fabia and Polo score high on driving dynamics. The car that I'd like to drive to work every day is the Polo. Okay, it doesn't have the most powerful engine here, but it makes up for that with a plush, well-damped ride, razor-edge handling, and superb high-speed stability. And to sweeten the pot even more, with its compact dimensions, it's remarkably easy to drive, maneuver, and park in city conditions. Now, we move to the fifth and final question. Which of these diesel hatchbacks is my bank manager going to like? Diesel hatchbacks are in vogue thanks to the rising cost of petrol. So fuel efficiency is a really big deal in this segment. And on that front, all these cars are very closely matched. The Fabia clocks 14.9 km per litre in the city and 15.9 overall. The Polo runs the same engine but is more efficient at 15.8 in the city and 17.5 overall. The Micra may have the largest engine in this test, but it's not the most efficient, with figures of 15.8 in the city and 17.52 overall, leaving the i20 to take the laurels with a city mileage of 17.47 and a whopping 18.95 km per litre overall. Having answered our 5 burning questions, we now come to the 6th and most important question. Which of these diesel hatchbacks should you buy? Now, if this were about pure driving pleasure, money no object, then the Polo is the pick each and every time. But at just over 7 lakh rupees, it's also very expensive, with only the i20 which costs a whopping 7.13 lakhs ex-showroom heavier on your checkbook. The Fabia's top spec costs 6.49 lakhs and the top XV premium spec of the Micra costs a surprising 6.1 lakh rupees, but unlike the petrol Micra, the top-end diesel gets only a driver airbag and no ABS, a decision we don't like. However, now the Micra is not exactly going to make you go wow, but as you've seen, it does everything you ask of it and does it pretty well. And that's why the Micra is our pick of the diesel hatchback bunch right now.